Hello and welcome back to Tungsten Tales. Once again, we're in the first week of Premier League action over in Aberdeen. The brand new arena, around 7,000 fans packed into the arena for night one, as we saw 10 of the brightest stars in the game, of course 9 full-time players, and the Highlander John Henderson making his big return to Aberdeen. We started off the night with Glenn Durant, of course competed as a contender in last year's event. This time is his full debut in the Premier League, and he got off to a winning start, 7-3 against Michael Smith. We've seen their kind of rivalry before at the Grand Slam. There was a bit backwards and forwards between the two, and Duzza really got the job done here. I believe 7 out of 9 on the doubles. When he was going for that outer ring, he just didn't look like he was going to miss. Smith didn't score too badly. In fact, he looked relatively good after, of course, losing the Masters final at the weekend. We know that form isn't quite there at the moment, but if you can just pick it up a couple of levels, then you do fancy Michael Smith to have a decent run in this year's Premier League. But Glenn Durant, the man, getting the job done in the opening match. Secondly, Gary Anderson, back in his home country, a winner over Gurney. We saw sparks of the old Gary Anderson in the World Championships. He didn't look too bad in Milton Keynes over the weekend as well, and he's back to winning ways, really grinding out a result against Gurney. For much of that game he was behind. Daryl sort of got the big scoring going. Gary was holding in, hitting those tons and ton 40s to cling on, hitting the big finishes. I believe there was a 104, which was one of the big turning points in the game as it entered the final stages. He threw some with better darts, and Gary Anderson is off to a winning start in the Premier League once again. The third match on stage is of course a repeat of the 2020 World Championship final, Michael van Gerwen against Peter Wright. Of course, Peter Wright came out on top in January the 1st, of course, the World Championship final. But it was Michael van Gerwen who came out on top tonight in Aberdeen. It was a quick start for Peter Wright. He was 2-0 up, and in fact, after the first 5 legs, he had opportunities in every single one of those legs. Could have been 5-0 to Peter Wright, but instead it was 3-2 to Michael van Gerwen. Seemingly getting used to those new darts now, around the 104 average mark, which is not too shoddy at all. I'm sure he will believe he can play much better than that, but 104, very solid average. And what Michael van Gerwen will be expecting from those brand new Winmau Darts. He looked comfortable up on stage. He looked like he was hitting the big scores again. Plenty of ton plus checkouts in that one. It's Michael van Gerwen who gets the win over the new world champ, and off to a winning start. The confidence beginning to build for Michael van Gerwen once again. And then the fourth game on, should I say, is Nathan Aspinall. He getting on to a winning start against John Henderson. We saw last year coming from 5-2 down, John Henderson, to draw 6-6 with Michael van Gerwen. The atmosphere was spectacular. No different in Aberdeen, maybe a little quieter tonight, but not a bad atmosphere at all. That's what we can expect from all the challenges in this year's Premier League. John Henderson, a firm fan's favourite wherever he goes, but not to mention, of course, in Aberdeen. But couldn't get the win, didn't really get going out of second, third gear, John Henderson. Neither did Nathan Aspinall, to be honest. His scoring wasn't really there until the latter stages of the match. But Nathan Aspinall getting the job done, a 7-3 win to carry him into the upper stages of the table after just 1 week in the Premier League. And finally, Rob Cross against Gerwyn Price. Rob Cross, of course, as we covered not too long ago, has lost 2 stone in weight. Gerwyn Price, a semi-finalist at the World Championships, didn't look too bad at the Masters last week. We know what he expects from himself this year, another couple of majors, and really looks to be shooting for that first World Championship title. We did expect him to reach the final against Michael van Gerwen a couple of months back, but couldn't quite get there. And not a bad start to his Premier League campaign against Rob Cross. The match ending 6-6. Rob Cross was fairly slow at the blocks, Price taking an early lead, but once he got into his stride, of course switching back from the darts we saw him play at the Masters, Rob Cross did look comfortable up there. He looked like more himself. The weight is going to take time for him to adjust. Losing 2 stone in a couple of months, everything's going to feel different up there. But around the 97-98 average mark for much of that match, and he looked comfortable, which is really good to see from the former world champion, who hasn't been playing his best for probably up nearly a year now, to be honest. Gerwen Price securing the last 2 legs, Cross was 6-4 up. Price securing 2 legs and earning himself the draw, which in the balance probably just about a fair result. And that rounds off the final score for the last match on night 1 of the Premier League. So Glenn Durant 7, Michael Smith 3, Gary Anderson 7, Daryl Gurney 5, Michael van Gerwen 7, Peter Wright 5, Nathan Aspinall 7, John Henderson 3, and finally Gerwen Price 6, Rob Cross 6. There are your results and your full recap for the first night of the 2020 PDC Premier League. We'll have plenty more coming up, of course, every week with the Premier League. We've got the Pro Tour this weekend, we've got Challenge Tours coming up, Development Tours, all sorts. We'll all have it all covered on Tungsten Tales, so please press that subscribe button and enable your notifications just so you can see when all those videos are coming through. We'll see you around soon.